Thank you very much, Melanie. And you know what? I think we've all been there where we wake up one morning, we look around our house and we're thinking to ourselves, man, I gotta get out of here. I've been here for a while and I need a change in my life. Or maybe, you know what? Your kids, they're off to college, they're not coming back home, and you know, you want to move out, you want to pack up, you want to downsize, you want to get something that's more for you and your significant other. Well, this is kind of where we have Glenn Prairie come in with Total Living Concepts. Glenn, thank you for joining us here today on the show.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Now, you know, I think it's a pretty common thing for people to have, especially lived in a house for 5, 10, 15, 30 plus years, and you wake up one day and you think to yourself, I don't want to live here anymore. What do you say to those people?
Well, you know, we've had lots of people call us, and I remember one particular occasion where a lady called us up and she says, I want to stay here and my husband wants to move. Can you come over and show me how to stay here?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny because my parents, you know, me and my sisters are long moved out now at this point. My dad works 5 minutes away from home, so he would be more than happy to spend the rest of his life in that house.
Yep.
My mom, you know, she wants to move 2 hours up north, away from the city, away from everybody, or she thinks she does. So what they've done is they've made an addition. They've put on a front porch.
Right.
They put on a back porch. They've, you know, invested in some new windows. You know, they haven't had windows done for 30 years. So,
right.
You know, I think it's, how do you walk into a house and say, this is where you can make improvements. This is where you can change the entire interior of your house.
Right, right. Well, we go in and we look at it as a designer, we look at it differently. We look at 4 walls, and those are the exterior walls.
Right.
So anything on the interior can be changed.
Right.
So as your situation changes, you know, the children move out, and now you feel that maybe the house is too big, but boy, you know, we just had a grandchild come, and you know, they're going to come back for holidays and whatever, we need room for them, and so it just, the list goes on and on.
Now, do you ever find that, okay, so someone has a goal where they want to move, they're like, I don't even want to talk to you because they're so set on moving, and then it's like there's a reality check. They have that aha moment where it's like, this is not going to be able to happen. Have you witnessed that?
Oh yeah, no question. You know, I think it's you have to go out and look at what new homes are going to cost you, right? Or you buy an existing home, but you still have renovations in which to do. So, you know, you're sort of caught in a middle here, and if you enjoy your neighborhood and, you know, you like your neighbors, you like your location, as you said, you know, the landscaping has been done, you spent a lot of hours in, you know, the outside on your flower gardens or whatever, and you're not ready to move to that condo, you know, and so yes, a lot of people will come to us and say, how can you change this? How can you make it better?
What are some of the common areas of change that you're finding in, say, a house that's, you know, 20, 25 years old? Where do you start? Where do you know? You know, you wake up, you know that you don't want to spend the rest of your life here, but you really don't know where to start. Like, what would you recommend to somebody?
Well, we have a questionnaire. We start with a questionnaire and we ask what you think needs to be done or what's wrong with the house or what have you. And I think once you sit down and you look at it mechanically and say, okay, what's wrong with this house? And then aesthetically, we can always change anything, but kitchens, bathrooms are 2 most important areas. Maybe your living room. Very often we have a family room and we have a living room, and we don't use one of the rooms.
Right.
You know, or they have a dining room that they never use, or we can expand into that area, or take the family room and maybe make a bedroom out of it, or the living room, make a bedroom out of it, and make everything on 1 floor.
Right.
So, you know, as we age, of course, you know, the stairs aren't as kind as what they used to be.
Well, and that's just it. And it's also like, what are the areas, you know, does lighting affect how you perceive your house? Or, you know, can you really brighten up a room that was maybe darker, had darker colors, maybe even wallpaper? You know, that sort of a thing.
Cosmetically, all of that is very possible, but lighting is a huge issue. I think, as you're pointing out, as we age, you know, our retina ages with us, and yes, we require 3 times the amount of light in our senior years as what we do when we're young. 20-something, you know.
And I think, you know, I hear a common problem would be, you know, maybe you only have a house that has 1 bathroom on the upstairs, or it has, you know, a bathroom in the basement.
Right.
You know, what do you say to someone who wants to put a bathroom on the main level, especially, you know, as you get into, you know, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, you want to make things easy and accessible.
Right, and all of that's possible. Even the other stage too is maybe we have a walker or something like that, or maybe somebody in the family is you know, physical limitations won't allow us. So very important things that we consider are floor levels. Also, too, door openings. You know, will it fit?
Very important. Now we're actually going to take a look at some of the work that you have done, of course, with Total Living Concepts. The idea here is to don't relocate, renovate, and that's what it's all about. We're taking a look at some of your work here today on the screen, the before and the after. I mean, describe to us, you know, how long this would take.
Sure. This involved a renovation, so we actually put an addition on the back side of this to accomplish this bathroom. As you can see, the bathroom is very small, so we made it a lot larger. His and her sinks, drawers, if you notice the drawers, and make it much more easy and accessible. And if you look underneath, too, there's no toe kick or anything like that.
Right.
You can get underneath and wash those floors quite nicely.
Well, and look at how much you were able to brighten that up. I mean, you would think that you're almost walking into a completely different home.
You are, because we totally renovated this place, and it's you know, here's another place that this was in Snow Valley.
Okay, so fairly close, yeah. Yeah,
we took the dining room and pushed the bathroom right into the dining room because the clients never used the dining room. And you know, we made it into a spa-like a bathroom where they're in the forest, so you know, there's really no need for coverings or anything like that, so the natural light came in. The one thing you don't see is there's also a skylight in that room too as well. So it's allowing as much natural light as possible into that room.
But you know what, we can't see the skylight in this particular picture, but you can see how bright that room is now that the skylight is in there. You really, you know, it's not even just the lighting, it's the natural light that you brought to the room, and really kind of, you know, it kind of freshens up the look of the house.
Certainly it does. Certainly it does. And you know what, the value of the house just increased tremendously for what we've done to this home. We also did a kitchen in this home too as well.
Right.
All the floors, the laundry area and so forth. They had an office area, so we put a new doorway in, and we changed the back bedroom.
And we're actually taking a look at some kitchens right now that you've done. You know, I mean, look at the size. I mean, it almost makes it look that much more larger than it was before.
It's true. Yeah, we actually took out a bearing wall, which was about 22 feet.
Wow.
And you know, re-supported the whole structure. So that's all possible, and as I say, we look at the 4 outside walls, not the interior walls.
And that's the thing is, you know, it's all about, you know, this concept of don't relocate, renovate. You must have had experiences where, you know what, someone's like, Glenn, I'm sorry, I want to move, I'm set on it, I'm putting a for sale sign up, and that's it.
Oh yeah.
But then they probably come back to you and they said, thank you for doing all of this work to my house, you know, and a big bear hug at this point is what happens.
Well, yeah, you know, certainly we increase the value of a home, and you have to look at the area that you live in. Right. You know, usually they have 3 different price levels, right? You have the guy that's never done any work to the home, the person that's painted, and then the person that's totally renovated. Right. Well, obviously the prices,
they differ.
They differ, totally. So wouldn't you like to be on the upper end level, in my opinion? I mean, we have a lot of people that bought their house for $130,000 and they're, you know, $300,000-400,000 right now.
Based on the improvements, based on the upgrades.
Oh yeah, but you know, they bought it many years ago, of course. No, very often those upgrades will even net them higher. So if that house value in that subdivision is in that dollar value, you can also get above that dollar value.
Well, which is impressive, because you wouldn't think that, because maybe you bought your house like some of these houses on the screen right now. Here's some before and afters. Like, look at the detail in this, right? I mean, the before, I mean, how old would that house be approximately?
Well, we started off with a 50s original structure, and then the garage area was built in the 70s, and then they joined it in between. Well, we totally took this house and totally renovated it. We stripped it right down to the bare walls. Wow. Put 7 support beams in order to carry the height of the ceilings. Incredible. You know, so it was very important. And put new stairwells in, re-insulated. So now, you know, it's basically up to the standards of, you know, 2014.
And that's, you know, you've taken a house that is, you know, 50+ years old, and where someone's living it being like, you know, I don't know, I wake up every day, it feels too small, it's too dirty, it looks like it's from the 70s, and then now you've upgraded it to 2014 and beyond at, you know, affordable prices too. And again, it's all about kind of creating that budget and setting it down and saying, okay, this is what we want to spend on the house, this is what we want to spend on the upgrades, and, you know, you have to work within your budget. That's important too.
That is important, and a reality check comes in too as well, because sometimes we can't totally renovate the home for the dollars given. but at least we can show you the areas to renovate, and to bring it up to at least a good standard, and go from there.